Check this machine out. This one is going to be a big challenge to get running today. This is a 2008 Honda Rancher 420. The seller stated in the ad that as of right now, it does not run. He said he cannot get spark on it. He tried diagnosing a couple things and then kind of just gave up and listed this thing for sale for $1,300. I got the seller down to $800. That's the price we agreed on. So he told me his dad bought this thing new in 2008. His dad ended up moving and then he left this machine outside for several years. The son, the seller, went to go pick this thing up. It would not run, would not start. So that's when he started diagnosing it. And then he found out there was no spark. He said that this machine always ran good. There was never any issues with it, so he thinks the engine is fine. He said his sister did get in a little accident with it on the front end, and the front bumper got bent in. But he said it still drives straight, and he doesn't think the frame is bent at all. And then the plastic in the back is missing as well, right there. But otherwise, it's a pretty complete machine, pretty clean machine. And these typically go for like $3,000 in my area. The camo edition is pretty cool too. I think that's a limited edition camo. So all the plastics are really nice. Seat has no rips. All the lights are there. The piece of plastic here is missing, unfortunately. And the coil, he said he tried replacing, and he said that didn't work. He could not find the old coil for it, so I bought this thing without a coil. But we ordered one up on Amazon, so hopefully that fits for it. But that's pretty much the only thing he tried, was the wiring, the coil, and a couple other things he said. But he couldn't get spark. So the main goal for today is going to be to try to get spark on this machine and then get it up, running, and driving by the end of the video. Hopefully it's something easy, but you know, one person already took a crack at it, so we'll see what happens. But yeah, this would be a really nice machine if we can get this one up, running, and driving, especially since we paid $800 for it. So let's get this one off the trailer, start digging into it. Alright, little walk around. Front end looks pretty bent up, doesn't it? I'm hoping it's just that bumper though. It's pretty clean in there. It's not completely rusted out or anything. That's tight. CV axles are tight. Alright, so right now, the seller said there's a brand new battery in it. He turned it on, and he said it'll just crank and crank and crank. It does sound good turning over. See if the lights work. Oh yeah, lights are working. Everything's working. Yep, brights work too. Cool. Then here's the 4x4 lever. On-off switch. That could be corroded in there. Let's just see. Turn this thing on. Nope, doesn't even turn over with the on-off switch off. So the kill switch is working. Turn it off. See, it doesn't turn over. So, guessing that switch is fine. So let's get this one in the garage and start taking a look. It's gotta be something with like a corroded wire, a bad fuse. It's gotta be something simple. Alright, we got the machine in the garage. Let's start taking a look. I'm curious to see what's underneath the seat. Let's take that off here. Latch still works. The seat is in great condition. I'm really surprised if this thing sat outside. That looks really nice. So that saves me about $100 for a new seat. The seller said he started to work on this thing and tried to get it up and running, so maybe he could put a new air filter in it. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, brand new, looks like. Yeah, all oiled up. Oh, it's missing the cage, but at least there's one in there. So we do have to get the cage for it. Get that secured on there. But at least there was an air filter on it. Batteries all hooked up. The fuses are right here. I'm guessing the seller checked those right away. Let's get this plastic piece out of the way. What are these? So we're gonna take some time and go through all this wiring just to make sure nothing's pulled out of here. It looks like already I see some wires that have been spliced together. See that? The brown and the black and red. Ooh, that doesn't look too good, does it? That's all cracked and crappy looking. And then down here is the solenoid. It looks almost like a different wiring harness was in here. I don't know, interesting. And then the ground goes down to the engine down there. We can check and see if that's working. I'm sure it is because we're getting lights and everything is powering on. But right down here is the oil. Let's quick check that. Yeah, that looks really clear. Let's check the amount in here. Yeah, it's all the way up on the dipstick. So I'm guessing the seller changed out the oil after getting it in. And then here's the spark plug. Looks like a newer spark plug in there. And this is where the coil attaches to. You can see there's a green and yellow wire and a black and a red wire, which is funny enough because the black and red wire over here was spliced in, or at least it has tape connecting it together. So that could be a potential problem there. This thing has a bunch of sensors on it. So the red and black wire is going to the injector as well, which is funny. So I wonder if every time it pulses, it signals the injector. And then you've got the throttle position sensor. I believe that's right there. And that looks like that one's kind of cracked too. So I'm hoping water didn't get in there and corrode everything. You never know. So we have a lot to check over. I think we're going to start with the basics, and we'll probably hook up the new coil right away, which is right here. This had really good reviews on Amazon, so we're going to try that out. First thing we'll do is get the coil on. Maybe it's just the coil. Maybe it'll fire right up. Alright, here is the new coil. So this was specifically for a 2008 Honda Rancher 420. And it had 4.9 star review on Amazon. And everybody said they worked when they installed it on their machine. So, we'll see. Where does that get attached to here? There's one hole there. Oh, we'll plug it in and see what happens. I don't think you need it grounded out because there's a ground wire coming right there. So here's positive going in, and there's the ground right there for it. Let's get that spark plug out. Let's see if it's loose in there. Yeah, it is. Let's see if it's a brand new plug. No, it's not brand new. So it looks like it was running really good at one point. It's nice and brown at the tip there. No carbon buildup. Looks really nice. NGK BKR5E plug. So let's see what happens. Maybe we'll get spark. You never know. There we go. Let's see. Down in there. Turn this on. Won't that be amazing? Nothing. Nothing at all. I was really hoping that would just fix our problem right away. Sometimes you get that lucky, sometimes not. Today, we're not gonna be getting that lucky. Try one more time. Nothing. Well, we can try a new plug. All right, coil came with a brand new plug. Let's just use that for testing purposes. It's brand new. We should see spark. You never know, maybe it was a spark plug. Ground that out to the engine. Here we go. Not seeing anything, are you guys? No spark. So it looks like it wasn't the coil, wasn't the plug. Let's move on from that. All right, I just noticed something that might be leading to no spark. So you turn this machine on, you've got the neutral light lighting up, that's good. If it wasn't in neutral, you'd probably need to push in the brake in order to get spark. But the neutral light comes on, but something else is not coming on. The pump, the fuel pump. So that should be turning on every time you turn on the machine. And we crank it over, and it's still not coming on. So the fuel pump is definitely not working. That should be pumping gas right when you turn that key. So the fuel pump, where is that sucker on here? That should be coming on right away. It's right there. So for some reason that's not coming on, and look at that, the boot is off of it. So somebody was in there trying to fix it. See how that boot's lifted up off of there? So they knew that the fuel pump wasn't working. It could be a fuse. So let's go ahead and check the fuses out. Make sure those are all good. All right, let's take a look. This is probably the first thing the seller checked. But you never know, I've had people miss stuff like this, so it's best to double check everything. So we're gonna go through with a continuity tester, check each fuse here. See on the cover what each fuse does. So there's ignition here, it's a 10 amp fuse. So that's gonna be this one down here. We've got the fan. We've got the fan, the 15 amp fuse. The light, that one's working. And then the accessories. And then the 30 amp main. The 30 amp main, I believe, is working. But maybe the ignition one is not, which is right here. So let's take a look. We should hear a beep as we go down the line. This one should beep right away. Yep, that one's good. 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 I'm just gonna visually inspect that. 10 amp fuse here. And as you can see, that one looks good. It's not broken in there. And then just make sure that these are touching in here as well. And one other thing I want to do is check and see if we're getting positive voltage to this fuse. So we can turn our meter to DC volts. You guys can kind of see it right there. And we're going to check and see if we're getting anything. So right to there. Nothing there. Nothing there. Oh, the key's not on. Okay, there's 12 volts there. So we're getting power to that fuse. Turn that back off. Let's get that back in. So that checks out. Let's take our 30 amp main out. I just want to see if we're getting power there. So we should be getting 12 volts there, yep. So we're getting 12 volts there as well. Alright, that looks good. I've also had situations where the back of the fuse box wires are pulled out. Let's just take a look at that. Are any of these broken or pulled out of here? Specifically, the main fuse and the ignition fuse wires going to it, and those all look nice and tight going into there. So I don't see any wires pulled out of here. Those all look good. Alright, and those go into the main harness there. Alright, well, now we're just going to go kind of through these connectors here. We saw some tape on certain things, like this wire. This is black and red. It's taped up. Let's just take a peek. Maybe it's disconnected underneath the tape. You never know. But unfortunately, it looks like the fuel pump has other issues going on because there's not a fuse for the fuel pump. Why was this thing taped up? That's weird. There's no... Ah, look at that. Oh man. That might be the problem right there. Look at this. Look how corroded that wire is. Wow, that's really bad. That is really bad. That might be it right there. You can see just how green that wiring is. I'm guessing this brown one is the same way. So we're going to cut that back and solder this, because I don't trust that at all. Cut out of it. Just like that. Cut this piece out. And we can put a new wire in there. See that? Looks like fresh wire there. Yeah, that was pretty bad. So we can get those two wires hooked up there. Get those soldered in place. So I'm guessing it's from here. So that's 12 volts there. This is negative. Okay. Let's see what you turn on the machine. Is this still negative? Yep. All right, let's get some new wiring on there. Twist these two guys together. And then we're going to solder those connections. And then we can test it by seeing if voltage flows through that wire. Alright, now we can test the voltage from each end of that wire here. See what we're getting. This one we've got 11.9. Over on this end, 11.9. So that looks good. Alright, let's see if we have anything here. So zoom into the spark plug. Alright, turn this on. See if we get anything. Nothing. Nothing at all. Alright, let's take a look at this other wire that was taped up here. This is a brown wire, and the brown wire actually goes to the fuel pump, so maybe this is the one that's causing the fuel pump not to turn on. We'll see. Oh yeah, that one's really bad too. Look at that. Not the same as the black and red one. It's all green, corroded in there, so we're gonna cut that one out too. Repair that. You can see that's the wire we took out of there. I don't know if that was making a good connection or not. Pretty corroded. So hopefully this is our fix here. Really hoping. All right, let's see what we're getting to this one. 11.9, 11.9, so we're making a good connection there as well. Let's see if we have spark. Turn this thing on. Let's see if we've got anything in there. Nothing. Let's take off this plug here. If these were corroded, I'm guessing the inside of here is pretty corroded too. Looks pretty dirty. It's coming. There we go. Alright, we're looking for any of the wires pulled out. Those look good. Let's just test those. Make sure we're getting voltage to them. So this one should be 12 volts there. Yup, 11.9, 11.9, 11.9. We're getting voltage to each one of these, except for that one. Gray and... So this gray and pink one here, I think that one's positive coming in. Let's see. I don't think we're getting anything to that one right there. Let me turn this on, just see. We're not getting anything to that one. I don't know what that one does. It's gray and pink, or gray and orange. Wonder what that one does. But we're getting absolutely zero to that. Spring here. I can see all the prongs in here are intact. I'm just gonna scrape some of this gunk out of this one. So for some reason, that wire doesn't have any power going to it at all. I don't know what that's for. Maybe it's nothing, but it's the gray and pink wire. We've got no power. So we'll plug that back in. Maybe it gets power from something else when you plug it in. That's what I'm guessing. Let's just see if anything happens now. Alright, so that did not fix our no spark issue. So here's the coil. We should have positive power coming into the black and red wire going to the coil on this side over here, and a ground going to this side. Let's see if we've got that. So unplug this coil. Alright, we'll plug in positive going to there. Let's see if we're getting anything. So it's when we turn the key on is when we should see it. Alright, turn the key on, we should have 12 volts. Yep. That looks good. So we're getting positive power to the coil. Let's see if we're getting a ground. Key off. Let's try the ground here. And we'll try it when we turn it over as well. So right now, we're not getting a ground. Turn on the machine, still no ground. Let's see when we turn over the machine. See if we get anything. Yeah, we're getting nothing. That could be the problem right there. So we're not getting a ground to the coil. The coil needs a ground in order to spark. So this wire here looks like we might have an issue with the green and yellow wire. Turn that off. It looks like there's some tape on it right here. Alright, here's the tape I see by the green wire. Maybe that's just corroded. We're not getting a good connection there. Let's see what's behind the tape. I don't think anything. No. So the green and yellow looks fine. I'm not seeing anything there that would indicate a broken wire. You can see that's not broken at all in there. So now what we're going to do is follow that up and see where that leads to, because for some reason we're not going to get ground from that. So that goes into here. We're looking again for green and yellow. Where does that go to? This comes into here. That goes down to here. Where is the green and yellow wire? Alright, so we followed the green and yellow wire all the way up to the CDI. And it comes to the CDI in through here, the green and yellow wire. And that green and yellow wire should be negative, pulsing from the CDI. And it's not doing that. So something's going on to where this is not getting power. So we went up to this box up here. This box is the box that had those cut wires in the beginning of the video. when we fix those with the solder. So the green and black wires going in are positive. That's feeding the rest of the system here. The red and white wire here is going to the bank angle sensor, which is down here. And what that does is if the machine tips over, it'll signal that to not produce power. So you can bypass that by jumping the black and green to the red and white. And that also usually signals the pump not to work. So the pump is supposed to be getting positive power from the green and black to the brown. I'll show you guys that by crossing those wires, and we should hear the pump turn on. So I don't think the box is working or the angle sensor is not working. Let's just cross these wires here quick. So we're going to be doing black and green to this one right here. Now it should signal the pump. Can you guys hear the pump? Pump is gone. So the pump does work. It's just not turning on with this switch here. So we're going to go down to the bank angle sensor, which is down there, and see if we can bypass that. I don't know if you guys can see it or not. I think we can try to unplug it and then just bypass it by connecting the green and black wire to the red and white wire. So it looks like the bank angle sensor isn't down below. Over here, I looked for it. I guess it must be on a different model. So hopefully it's underneath here. We'll see. Just rack off. Plastic coming off. You can. Alright, I don't think it's up here either. I just looked at all these connections and there's nothing up here. It looks to be a sensor. So, I don't know where the heck that is. Alright, I finally found it. So I followed up the wires from here. And it looks like it goes down under to right here, the bank angle sensor. So we finally found it. So if you guys look up in there, there it is right there. So what we can do is try to bypass that. See if that fixes your problem. Maybe this machine tipped over at one point. Cause that to not work. Where is it? That leads down to here. See, all we have to do is connect the green and black right there to the red and black. Alright, just gonna bypass like that. Now we should have power to the red and white wire here. We should have positive power going to the red and white. So let's just check that quick. Turn it on. And now we're getting 12 volts to the red and white. So that bypasses that. Now we can check for spark again. Let's see what we get. Nothing. Nothing at all. Oh man, I thought for sure that was going to be the fix. Shoot. The pump still isn't going on though. So I think the relay in there probably short it out for the pump, because when you directly put power to that, it turns on. So that's the only thing not getting power right now. So the black and green has 12 volts. The other black and green has 12 volts. Now the red and white has 12 volt, and all the other red and whites have 12 volt. So I don't know. The only one that's not getting anything is the pump. Alright, we're still not getting spark. I've pretty much checked everything on this machine. The pickup coil is located right here. It's down in the engine cases, but it comes up through here to this plug. And there's two little plug-ins right here and right there. On the back side, you're going to see a wire that is blue and yellow, and then it looks like just green. That is for the pickup coil. So every time that engine rotates, it signals the CDI when to spark. So if it's not doing that correctly, we'll never get spark. So let's just do a continuity test. It should be between like 200 and 300 ohms. So let's just take a look. Let's see what we're at. We just don't want it not to have any continuity. Let's see. So 241. So that looks good. And the stator, all that does is charge the battery, so that doesn't matter. So that looks good. You can also do like a peak voltage test on it. You want 0.7 volts. We can try to turn this thing over and just see, but we don't have a peak voltage machine here, so let's see what we're getting. That's 0.1. We'll crank over the engine as fast as we can. See what happens. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work. So we don't have it on the correct setting here. Yeah, I think that's fine. It's just not working. It ohmed out correctly. So I don't think it's the pickup coil at all. Now there is a possibility that the coil we just bought is bad. So we can quick test that. So to test that, what we're gonna do is ground out the spark plug. Find a good spot for it. I might just go to the engine right here. Might be a little easier for you guys to see. So we're gonna ground out the spark plug, and then what we're gonna do is take the negative lead off, right there, the green one, and we're going to manually ground this out. Keep this one positive, ground this one out, and it should spark down here. So let's do that and see if we get a nice blue spark. Then we know that the boot, the coil, and the spark plug are all fine, and we can kind of rule those out. And we're just gonna lightly touch this. And we should see a spark. Oh, get voltage going to it. There we go, we saw a spark there. See that? So that's what should happen. We should be getting a ground signal right to here, this post up here, from the CDI, and then it signals that coil to spark. See that? So it's not doing that. But now that we know the spark plug, the coil, and the boot are good, we can rule those out. So this is the wire going to the coil. It's the green and yellow, and that's the one that comes out of the CDI right over here. Green and yellow. What happens is the pickup coil, which is right, these two wires here, should signal the CDI when to trigger this wire right here, and it should be throwing out a negative pulse to the coil. We did a continuity test on this wire, and the continuity test passed, so this wire directly goes to the coil. So we should have direct negative flow from this wire to the coil. And I don't think we're getting that. So let's just see what we're getting at that wire. Just test it out. Here we go. Turn this on. Yeah, we're not getting any type of signal whatsoever here. Make sure these are connected. Yup. Not getting anything. I think we checked every single thing we could check. Unfortunately, we looked at every wire, and this should have a pulse reading going to the coil, and it's not doing that. It's not doing anything. Alright, right here on the side of the carb is the throttle position sensor. We disconnected that quick just to see if that would affect spark at all. Let's quick test it. See what we get. Everything's connected up. Please be spark. Nothing. Nothing at all. Let's see when if I hold it, if I get anything. No spark. I really wish it would shock me. Alright, this is really weird. The fan is like kicking on sometimes. Look at that. What the heck? Why would that be doing that? Isn't that bizarre? Why would that be? Huh. I wonder if there's like a short somewhere causing that to turn on. The key is off. So how would that even work? I don't get it. Maybe that's got something to do with our no spark situation. Alright, one thing I didn't check was the diode, which is right here. Let's just test that with the multimeter here. Let's go to our diode test. It's got the little arrow with the line there. And we're going to do positive on the outside, negative on the inside, and we should get a reading. See what we get. About 0.6. And same with this side. We should have 0.6. Yep. Now we're going to switch these around and we shouldn't get anything. Yep. So that diode is fine. So nothing wrong with the diode. All right, we've got this diagram here. It shows you each pin for the CDI and what each pin goes to on here. So here are the grounds down here. It says B13, B22, and B10. So let's check all the grounds one more time just to make sure before we rule that out for good. So here is B22. Yep. 11.7. Here's B10, I believe. Yep. All right, and then the last one, which is, I think it's B13. 11.7. So we have all the grounds are perfect. And then I thought this was going to be the fix. Black and white is coming from the engine stop switch. We were actually getting positive there, which we shouldn't have been getting. So I actually chopped the black and white wire, and now we're getting negative to that. I thought that was going to fix it for sure, but it didn't. So, yeah, still not working. All right, we're going to inspect the CDI box here. I'm going to take this off and just look for any cracks or imperfections that might be causing it to not work properly. Okay, so looking at any of the pins that might be broken here, those all look good there. These all look good, these all look good. I do see some cracking on it. Right there, there's a crack. Right there, there's a crack. Right down in here, there's a crack. You guys can see that or not. Right down in there. So what we can possibly do is maybe heat this up a little bit with a heat gun. And what that can sometimes do is help the solder joints that maybe got cold and detached, and it can let those flow again. Or if water got in here, I can evaporate the water. I've never had it work before, but I guess it's worth a shot. So we'll heat this up a little bit with a heat gun. See what happens. I mean, it's worth a shot, I guess. Heat this up a little bit. I'm like 95% sure it's the CDI, just because we checked everything else. Look at all the markings on here too. Looks like somebody either replaced it at one point or tried to swap it. You know, who even knows if this is the right one? We'll have to look it up. Pretty hot. It's hot to the touch. I can barely hold it. Doesn't hurt to try it. Turn the machine on. Nothing. Well, we tried. Well, I'm scrolling on eBay, and they have the fuel pump relay for like 35 bucks. It's not too bad. But they do not have the correct CDI box. This one was 300. That one's for the ES only, the TRX 420 ES. I need the FM. Oh, this one's $625. Are you kidding me? That one's 09 through 13, so that's the wrong one. We need 08 FM. I'm guessing it's like really rare. That's gonna suck if we can't find it. What are we gonna do? I don't know if they make them new or not. I don't think they do. Jeez, that one's $625. That one's $450. That one's FE. Oh, so close. That one's $450. I'm gonna type in the part number and see if we can make it come up. Oh, here we go. There's one. Yep, 38770 HP5023. That's the one we need. Is that brand new? Genuine OEM Honda. Brand new directly from Honda in original packaging, in stock and ready to ship. So that's the one we're probably gonna have to go with. So if anybody has that before I buy this and want to send it to me for testing purposes, let me know. I don't really want to spend $230 and have it not be a CDI. I'm pretty sure it is, but yeah. But we'll add that one to the cart. All right, let's see if there's any coolant in here. Finally got that cap off. Yeah, coolant's topped off in there. All right, let's get our gas line off here, so we can get our injector off here. We'll see if any gas comes out. Alright, that should be free. Whoa. There's definitely gas going to it. Let's see if it pumps out of there. Do this. Yep. Alright, so we're going to touch the wire positive to the fuel pump here. Let's see what we get. Oh yeah, it's filling up. She's a little dark, but fuel pump's working good. Really good. So at least we don't have to buy a new fuel pump. Checking the brake function here. Rear brake, front brakes do work. So there's really not a whole lot wrong with it besides this thing not getting spark. So if we can get spark, I think this thing will fire right up. One thing I want to check before we go any further is just the diff oil. See how full we are here. Almost. Uh-oh. Oh, there's some. Definitely some in there. I believe the check bolt is right down here. You can see it. Let's see if oil pours out. Yup, you can see it just pouring out of there. See, it's dripping out. So perfect amount of oil in there. Quick check the front diff. There we go. Wasn't too bad. Put that out. long as there's something in there. Oh yeah, that one's really filled up. Good, I was just worried that that was dry, because this thing sat so long outside. Well, looks like everything else checks out on this machine besides having no spark. So unfortunately, we're gonna have to end the video here until we can order up some parts for it. We're gonna order up the CDI and the switch here. So this is the stop switch and the fuel injection switch. So that one's like, I think like 35 bucks, and then the CDI is gonna be like 250 bucks. So another almost $300 into this thing to test it out. Is it worth that? I don't know, but we'll probably end up doing it, and we'll see if the new CDI and the new switch fixes our no spark issue. If it doesn't, I have no idea what is going on. Every single thing else checked out. If you guys have any ideas on what could be causing the no spark, leave a comment down below. I will read all the comments on this video, and hopefully we can figure it out. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's that CDI, probably 95% sure it is. But yeah, this one's so close, but yet so far. All we need is spark, and I bet you this thing will fire up. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, picking up this 2008 Honda Rancher 420 for 800 bucks and trying to diagnose it. Unfortunately, we couldn't get the spark today, but hopefully next video we can. So thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for subscribing. Stay tuned for next video, and until next time, we are out.